Hello everyone, this is Taka from bigheadtaco.com. Welcome to my second live broadcast. I have camera girl helping me just a little bit. It's I don't know if it started here. I'm trying to monitor down here. I'm gonna pause my volume here. So I'm gonna just get camera girl to adjust a little bit. I'm not sure if how's the angle looking there? Looks pretty good, a little bit higher there. Okay, so I'm here to do I did an unboxing video on my Instagram account, on my Instagram live of the GFX 50S with the 3 currently available lenses, because it's not a real unboxing. It came from another photographer in Calgary, so it was shipped here. It's about a week late. I was supposed to have the camera for almost 2 weeks. I have it for like 3.5 days. So I'm in a bit of a hurry to test it and shoot with it. So I'm just waiting for people logging on right now. There's just a handful of you guys. Hello, John F. Hello, everybody else. Chris King, David Norton, Jaggers, Padad, Chris King. Nice revolver hat. Yes, thank you. So it is a revolver hat. So as people join, we are going to start to do just my first impressions of the GFX 50S. And my first impression is, so in the interview I had with Billy mentioned being able to get the entire GFX kit into a donkey bag, and this is the donkey bag that he's referring to. So I'm gonna just see my screen here. So yeah, this is it. So I forgot the what is it, the FX5B or something, but it's the official Fujifilm one. It actually says Fujifilm X, and I think a lot of the X photographers got a copy of one of these, and because I am not an X photographer, I did not get one of these, but it's a sweet sort of a over-the-shoulder. You could probably put maybe a 13-inch MacBook would fit in here, but it's more made for a 12-inch MacBook or one of the Air series. But the entire GFX kit, including the charger, which actually I don't have it with me now, it's charging in the other room, but the entire thing was shipped to me in a cardboard box, padded, but the entire kit fits into this. So I'm gonna take it out slowly. So it is pretty amazing that you have a digital medium format kit that fits into a bag this tiny. So I'm gonna start pulling everything out, and I'm seeing all the questions coming in here, guys. So I'm gonna try to keep this as GFX centric as possible. So on my Instagram live, I noticed that people are asking about XT2, XT20, X100F, but there isn't a lot of time. Like I said, 3.5 days with this camera, so I'm gonna do my best to shoot this video. And so as you can see here, this is all 3 lenses. And you're thinking, well, where's the body? I kind of cheat, not cheat a little bit, but I would put this probably in a little bag or wrap it in something, because underneath this is where the GFX body is. So here's the body here. So here is the GFX. All right. So this is so what I pulled out here was the 63mm lens, which it works out to be, this is like the 50mm standard. Okay. And one of the questions someone had asked is, because they have like the other digital medium format cameras like Pentax and Mamiya, and there's Hasselblad. Phase 1 is now, I think they own Mamiya. But there aren't a lot of digital medium format cameras out there. So they asked, are all the lenses made in Japan? And I said to people, I don't know for sure, but all the Fujifilm Premium, so this is the XT2 with the booster grip with the 10-24 lens. From what I've seen, all the XF lenses are made in Japan. The XT2, the X Pro 2, the X100F, the premium bodies are also all made in Japan. So my guess was, the GFX is all gonna be made in Japan. And so this lens here, it says, I'm not sure if can you see that there? It says made in Japan, right? So, and I checked, all the lenses are made in Japan. The body here is the GFX body. Again, you can see over here, can you see that? It says they're made in Japan. Okay, so it is confirmed made in Japan. The thing is, the battery power grip is made in China. Now, if that makes a difference to you or not, I don't know. It's just kind of an accessory. It's not an optics thing. I think even with Leica, some of their accessories, like their EVFs and stuff like that are not made in Germany either. So the main things are made in the countries that perhaps most people would consider, you know, first world manufacturing countries that you pay premium because it's made in that country. To me, it really depends on the company. Like for instance, Apple, the iPhones are all made in China. They have super high standards for quality. I don't see a quality difference between, let's just say, a Sony smartphone made in Japan versus an Apple iPhone made in China. So to me, it's not a big deal, but it is nice to know that the lenses and the body's made in Japan. So this is the 32 to 64. So this is approximately a 25 to 50, 24 to 50, which was a very common zoom focal length in the early 80s. They would consider this like a press lens for press photographers, photojournalists, because of that focal range. So this is quite heavy. It looks twice the size and it feels twice the weight. And so this is something that probably, if you want, like Billy was mentioning Zach Arias wanting to do street photography with the GFX. So if you're gonna do it, I think this is probably the combo you're looking at. You're looking at the 32 to 64 on the GFX 50S body. And I think, yeah, camera girl, you're fixing the lighting a little bit. I'm getting some weird shadows and stuff like that. So this lens here, and we know that there are 3 more lenses coming, right? So two more in a couple of months, and then a third one at the end of the year. The one that I'm most excited about is probably the ultra wide zoom for architectural landscape, and the I think it's like it's an f2 prime. I think a 100 mil f2, and that will be crazy on a digital meeting format. And this is the 120 f4. I don't think they officially call it a macro. Maybe they do, but it's a 1:2 macro. It's not a 1:1 macro, which is still pretty darn good, especially because this is a medium format digital camera as well. There's a focus limiter on this, and so if you're shooting things here, so it goes from the full focal range, then you got 0.9 meters to infinity. So if you're not actually doing macro type photography, it's nice that it doesn't get any closer than 0.9 meters. And then you have the if you are actually shooting macro, it goes from 0.45 to 0.9.0. So 0.90. Can you see that? Let's just see if you can see that there. So there's the focus limiter on there. There's also a big honking lens. I typically don't like using lens hoods, but on a longer focal length like this, and if you're shooting outdoors, it's probably necessary to shoot with it. On the wide stuff, I don't, you know, they look kind of ugly. I think a lot of the Leicas, and even the newer, the one on the XF23, F2, and the XF35, even the 1.4 and the F2, beautiful lens hoods. They look nice, but these plasticky ones, it's okay. I probably would never use this one here. So let's. I'm gonna go start looking at some of the questions here that I'm getting. Let me just see here. Want to stand out on the street? Use a combo. Yes. So for me, I'm gonna try it today, guys. I'm gonna try it today. I don't. Okay, so I'm gonna put. So if you're like a classical street photographer, a la Henri Cartier-Bresson, or any of the other guys, and even a guy like Saul Leiter, who often shot with a 90 mil or a 135 mil. Those guys are shooting Leicas, right? But if you, I see guys with Canon 5D Mark IIIs, Mark IVs, the bigger Nikon DSLRs on the street, shooting street photography with their big SLRs. So to me, yes, this is probably slightly bigger than a standard DSLR, although comparable to the larger Pro DSLRs. Like if you have an EOS 1D, this is probably, in terms of, you know, maybe it's not as thick as this, but actually it probably is because of the mirror box, right? Because so the flange distance, so you could see here, all these kind of cameras have, they tell you where the sensor is. You could see where the sensor is. It's actually quite close. It's quite close to the flange there. It's very, very close. It's about maybe 3/4 to about an inch to the lens mount. So it is one of the reasons that this is so thick is the battery, right? The battery compartment, which is actually just in a great spot. Because when you have this on a tripod, you have access to your battery here, which is 1.5 times the size of a standard, what's the code? NP126SW, blah, 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 blah. One of those, it's Billy said it's 1.5 of those. So you get one in the body, and then you get another one in the booster grip. And then on the other side, you have the memory card. So it's a dual ultra high speed type 2 slot. And on my Twitter, so if you don't follow me on Twitter, I do a lot of surveys and such, and I was asking people about the memory cards, what memory cards do you use? So I bought two brand new 64 gigabyte cards just because for something like this, shooting uncompressed RAW over 100 megabytes per file, I thought that it would be smart to have dual 64 gigabyte cards. And so shooting on the street, yeah, you know what, this is going to be pretty big, but I think that you could pull it off depending on how you shoot. Because I've seen guys with Texas Leicas, you know, the Fujifilm, what is it, the GS690, those kind of cameras. I've seen them. Camera girl, do you mind reducing the light though? The camera will compensate for the darkness. Can you just drop the brightness on the side here? Yeah, there you go. It should compensate. So yeah, and with this lens here, the 32-64, again, this is even bigger than the 63 mil lens. I'm gonna pull it off. Let's just see if I get yelled at or chased down because I'm trying to do street shots. But I am gonna be doing some portrait tests with this, and I'm gonna try to compare it with a film medium format camera, and then scan it to the same amount of resolution, and then compare the two and sort of see the pluses and minuses of shooting film versus a digital medium format. And to do portraits, I'm gonna obviously be using this 120 lens, which works out to, let's just see here, this 120 lens works out, I'm thinking about 100 mil or so, 95 mil. So 95 mil is a pretty decent focal length to be shooting portraits, but if you're going to be doing full body portraits, I think you can definitely get away with this lens here, the 63, which works out to be a 50 mil equivalent. So let's see if there's any questions out there. Oh, before looking at questions, I mentioned this. I keep on forgetting what the name of it is here. So, and then in the front here, you see that there's the control grip. So I'm gonna just, and it goes on just like the XT2. It feels like it's coming out of probably the same factory. So just spin this on. It has all the, it mirrors the same button layout here as down here, and instead of the shutter button being up here, it's down here, so it's just in the right spot for it. But now this is looking pretty honking big, right? So let's compare in the video here. Here, I need to monitor myself. Here we go. So there you go, right? This is comparing the XT2 with the GFX. It might not look that much bigger. Here, I'm gonna maybe back it off a little bit. It might not look that much bigger, but it definitely is heavier. And even if it's 30% by volume bigger, visually it might not look that much more, but here I'm gonna show you from the back as well. Here is the comparison from the back. It is significantly bigger, and when you're out there shooting on the street, and remember, this is the 10-24 lens on the XT2, and for me, even when I was in Hong Kong, when I was shooting with this lens, it felt big compared to shooting with an XF35 f2. So this is probably, for me, as big as I want to get when I'm shooting with the XT2. So, and this is just like the standard lens here, right? So significantly heavier. I don't have a scale, actually. Camera girl, do you mind if I borrow your baking scale? She's gonna grab the baking scale. I'll do a quick weight test. It's not like an equivalent because this is just the zoom, and it's kind of big and heavy for the XT2, and this is probably going to be the lightest lens that's on here. So let's see here as the questions are coming in. It is, yes, so it is a 4x3, so it's a 44x33 sensor. I forgot what the crop factor was. I mistakenly said it was a 1.7 times crop factor up from the 35mm, and it's not. It's like a 0.86 or something like that. So you gotta kind of, you know what, maybe I'll even, maybe someone could do the math for me, but if the 63 mil is equivalent to 50, I think if you times 63 by 0.86, you get around 50. So I think that's the crop factor going from this sensor to 35 is 0.86. Or if you want to go back and forth between the various focal lengths. Did you stop wearing 2 watches? No, I didn't, but I actually do wear 2 sometimes. It just depends on the video. So here I have Camera Girl's baking scale, and I'm gonna just zero this out here. So with the booster grip, you know what though? There's no battery. I wish, Camera Girl, do you mind going into the bedroom and grabbing the battery on the, actually, you know what? Forget it. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So no battery in the booster grip, standard lens. Putting this on the scale, I'm getting 1,630 grams. So it's 1.6 kilograms for this kit here with the EVF lens and the booster grip. And here is the XT2, but you know what, actually it's fair because I don't have batteries in the XT2 as well, just in the body. XT2 XF10 to 24. The weight of this kit here is almost 1.2 kilograms or 1,190. So that is, and remember this is a much heavier lens. So it's 500 grams more with the lightest lens you can get with one of the heavier medium to wide lenses. So yeah, you can get the larger lenses on here, but I'm talking about just kind of like walking around type lens. This is probably as heavy as you want. So if I had the XF23 lens on here, it'll definitely hit under 1,000 grams, and so it is significantly heavier. So let's just see here. So someone's saying they're able to do street photography with the D800. So definitely yes. If you are comfortable using a DSLR, using a film, I've seen guys with Pentax 6.7s doing street photography. I've seen guys using Polaroid 250 land cameras on doing street photography, and then I've seen people using, you know, their iPhones to be more discreet. If you can get away with shooting street with a large camera, I mean that's great. For me, I just prefer smaller, compact, more discreet, and I prefer a wider focal length. Other people like different focal lengths and they like using SLR. So if you're coming from an SLR, you want a 50 megapixel image while shooting street, well then go for it. Go with a camera of this size and nature. So I'm not against people using this for street. As I mentioned, Billy had said that Zach Arias is gonna just run with it and shoot street with this GFX. So you can definitely pull it off. How much the price? You have to go to B&H. It's, I think with the standard lens and the body, it's gonna be 10,000, just under 10,000 US. In my other video, I talk about it. So sorry, you have to figure that out. This is a live show, so sorry. I should, again, it's nice to do these things with a partner, with someone that's with a producer that's looking up all the information for me, but I have to do everything myself. This is the thing I was talking about. These are called locks or brackets, I think. And what this does is especially if you are a studio photographer and you want to do tethering and you want to get all the cables coming out, the problem is a lot of those cables that are sticking out, all the weight is on the connector, and if you're walking back and forth and someone accidentally knocks it, you either pull it out of the body or what happens is you break the connector, and very expensive to fix. And some of the higher end cameras, I think even the Panasonic GH5 has a sort of system like that, but other cameras has it where you basically, there's a hole here and you thread it on, and you thread this lock and connector on here, and once it's threaded on, if you can see that, now you can run all your cables through and it's protected inside here, right? Can you see that? And so for those that are studio photographers, this is a great, here we go, Camera Girl's helping me just a little bit. You can see how that, you can sort of see how that connects there. So for studio, as Billy mentioned, the studio and medium format photographers were consulted when Fujifilm designed this. And my first impression of this camera is it does not feel like a first gen product. It feels like it's on its second or third iteration. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that much of the design, other than the fact that this is medium and they took medium studio photographers as well as aiming at high-end DSLR 35mm guys, that a lot of the DNA comes from the X-T2. So if you shoot with the X-T2, I immediately popped in the new memory cards. There was a firmware update, so now it goes to version 1.0, which is, so this is ready for sale, where before it was a pre-production firmware. So I actually have production firmware, so the images that I take, I can actually now show. So I'm happy about that. But I was able to put the card in, format the cards, I was able to do all my settings, and it feels just like shooting with the X-T2. It feels exactly the same. So that is one of the reasons why this camera feels like such a refined camera, even though it's just a first gen. But another reason is because Fujifilm did spend a lot of time consulting pro photographers, studio photographers, and as Billy mentioned, they traveled like all over. They went to Asia, they went to the US, they went to Europe, and they spoke to a lot of these guys, and they asked them, what are you looking for what would you want to look for in a studio medium format type camera? And so this is amazing with the top, I think it's an OLED screen, so even when it's turned off, a lot of the features, you can see certain features like battery power, how many shots you have left. So here's telling me I have 3,049 shots with the double 64 gigabyte cards in here. And things like battery slot and the card slot on its side, not labeling the buttons in the back here, so you can set all the custom functions in the back whatever way you want to. It has the C mode on the lens, so if you go to C mode, you can bypass using the shutter speed dial on the top and the aperture ring, and you can just do everything by using the front and back control dials. All those little things are very well thought out, and so I'm gonna have a great time testing this. Even I tested autofocus, and I was surprised at how quick it was considering how much glass is being moved. And the AF system again is the same as that's in the X-T2, the X Pro 2, the X100F. So all the limits comes down to the physical size of the lens and the sensor. And so, yeah, sorry, did I miss the question here?
No, I'm just gonna, this question has come in twice, so
Okay.
I'm just gonna ask it. Jamie is asking, do you think wedding photographers will use this camera, or is it overkill and impractical?
Depending on what type of wedding photographer you are, good question. This is targeted at commercial, portrait, as well as wedding. Like I mentioned, high-end guys, people that are shooting high-end DSLRs, other than like sports and wildlife where you really need those long telephoto lenses, but those that are buying the 5D Mark III or 5D Mark IV or any of those kind of cameras to do non-sports type things, this is great for those, because as a wedding photographer, you can use this for portrait photography if you're doing studio stuff, or even outdoor engagement or pre-wedding photography, and as well event, because of the autofocus, because of the AF on here. Some of the medium format, I know there are some film medium format wedding photographers, and those are mostly manual focus. You can do manual focus, and it's really well dampened. And you get focus peaking on this, and you get live view, and you get video. But if you do weddings, I think you'll have a great time shooting with this, because up till now, I don't think there was a wedding photography centric digital medium format camera out there, and this is probably one of the first ones that are targeting that market. So it is expensive, as I mentioned. I think just under 10,000 US for the standard lens, EVF, and the body. It does not include the grip and no other lenses, but if you want to venture into medium format, which there are, like my buddy Cale Friesen, he is a ex-photographer in Vancouver, and then he moved to New York. He has the Pentax 645Z, or Z for my American viewers. That is a very popular medium format camera to shoot for portrait studio type work, but you can use it for weddings as well. This will be a great competition to that. All right, so thank you for that question. I'm gonna just look through here if any other questions. I'm gonna try to keep this short. I don't know how long I've been talking for, but it feels kind of long. Let me see here. Any lagging? Yeah, so I just got this. I have not shot a single picture. It's a beautiful sunny day in Vancouver. I'm gonna take off. Follow me on Instagram. I might do some quick little lives, some stories or some live stuff, or follow me on Twitter, and I'll keep you constantly updated on how I'm doing with this. But I'm excited. As I mentioned, I was supposed to have this for 2 weeks. I have it for 3.5 days, and I have like 4 videos planned, including this one. So I have 3 more videos planned with this, plus actually shooting with it and testing it and then comparing it to other things. So I don't have very much time with it. So thank you for your patience. I think if I don't see any other question coming in, I'm going to end this video. All right. Excellent. So thanks for tuning in, guys. One of the questions also that came in when I was doing the my Instagram live video is if I'm going to compare this to the X1D. There are a couple of dealers in town that have it, but if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I am going to Bangkok in April 27th to April 30th via Monogram Asia at the 8x8 event in Bangkok. And there I'm going to meet up with Eric Kim, my buddy Eric. Hey Eric. And as well as Bellamy from Japan Camera Hunter. Hey Bellamy. And there's 6 other photographers, 6 or 7 other photographers. Many of them are mobile photographers. And so we're doing a sort of a street photography workshop, as well as a couple of panel discussions. And I'm going to be the MC and the host for a lot of those events. So while I'm going to Bangkok, I'm also going to be stopping over in Hong Kong. And so look for more. I'm going to be doing some stuff in Hong Kong, and I'm going to see the guys at Shriro, and I'll see if I can grab one of these to Hong Kong, and then grab an X1D in Hong Kong, and maybe I'll do a me and maybe Victor from Barton 1972 to do a street shootout, meeting format, X1D Hasselblad versus the Fujifilm GFX 50S. What do you guys think? So let me know what you think down. So all these comments, I did this before, all your comments, thank you so much. They'll all disappear when I stop this live event. So please, if there's a question that I missed, because as I mentioned, I don't have a producer or someone that's moderating this with me. I'm probably missing tons of great comments and questions, but just re-ask them down below and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. So should I end this now? I think I'm gonna end this now. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to like. Happy shooting.